That headshot is for a purpose. It's a very select intended purpose. A portrait to me really conveys who the person is.
Welcome to another episode of Digital Marketing Hacks. I am your host, Elton Hubner, and also founder of Ice Multimedia, a photo and video production company based in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. Our special guest today will explain the difference between portraits and headshots.
I would say just right off the bat, headshot is for a purpose. It's a very select intended purpose. It explains what the person looks like. You could tell by a headshot what profession they're in. Is this a headshot of a doctor or a lawyer? It's typically just head and shoulders straight on. This is what this individual looks like.
That's what we see on websites.
Yeah.
Our team.
Yeah, exactly. Our
Meet
team,
us.
or maybe on a business card of a realtor.
Is that what we see on LinkedIn as well, or what you would recommend for LinkedIn?
I always say, depending on your profession, a lot of professions will have a select look. A desirable level of what you'd expect, and then there's something, say a startup or a tech company, where they're not going to be in suit and ties. They can be portrayed as being a little bit more relaxed or having fun in their portrait.
Can you talk a little bit more about what goes behind the scenes?
Part of my process, and it's helpful to me and my clients, is really I'll start with a consultation, and we'll go from there and see what they really need. If I know what I'm shooting for, whether it's a beautiful photo to hang in the wall, or if it's for the contact and about page on somebody's website. From there, we talk about what they want to portray, and then I decide, okay, how am I going to light that? Where are we going to do this? The consultation is where we get the bulk of information, so then I can take that onto photo day, but it's really for both client and myself to get as much information and preparedness, so then when it's actual photo shoot day, it's a true collaboration. Like when clients show up unprepared, I've given them information and they're just pulling clothes out of their bag and hoping something works, chances are their shoot isn't going to be successful. But if I go through step by step with them and say, okay, if this is the look we want, this is your brand color, and we want you to be relaxed, you need to bring the appropriate clothing for that. You need to make sure it's fixed, it fits properly, that it's clean, it's not wrinkled, there's not things everywhere. So the more prepared you are prior, the more results, the more confident and relaxed you're going to actually be in your shoot. So same for me, the more information and time I spend ahead of time, and that's what people don't necessarily realize as part of my job, is actually developing that and working with a brand so that you get the results that you're looking for.
So those are the headshots. And what are portraits, and who looks for portraits instead of headshots?
Good question. So a portrait can be done for an individual's personal enjoyment, or it can also be a business portrait. And what a portrait does to me, my explanation is it gives more character of the individual. There's typically more depth. Typically, there's also a lot more time spent in it. You really want to get to know the person, and that's how you end up drawing out the personality. There's also different steps as well. I would meet, sometimes I'll go to the client's home and really ask them what they're looking for. Sometimes it's a portrait of them and their family that they want to hang on the wall. If they have a vision for it, I have to extract that. I can't just show up and hope that I'm going to get something that they like. That it's possible, But
you need luck.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you need to roll with the punches and be flexible. Especially when there's children involved. But if you have an intended outcome where that portrait is going to hang or be, and whether it's a woman and she wants to feel beautiful about herself, or she's pregnant and she wants to look back in 20 years what that felt like and reminded how beautiful she was. So a portrait to me really conveys who the person is. It can add way more character and depth into an image.